Germany has an outstanding basis for innovations. Germany represents scientific excellence and top research. Compared to other startup nations, however, research in Germany doesn't produce new companies frequently enough or fast enough. Why don't scientists found startups far more often? Like Professor Nchia Christos, from the combination of laser light and photoacoustic effect, he has developed a method that provides unprecedented insights into the nano world of cellular processes. And he's also founded a startup, iThera.
iThera enters a space that in imaging that did not exist before, because it tries to do optical imaging deeper in tissue, so animals but also humans.
The goal? To detect cancer faster. But it took a long time. In 2004, the idea. In 2010, the company was founded. In 2011, the first financing by GoBio, and today iThera has almost 30 employees. What does a startup need to be successful?
You need the infrastructure, you need the accelerator programs, and you need to be able to guide people. I think also, however, you need to have support from reaching the proper funding schemes. So obviously a business to start, it needs that initial funding.
Startups like iThera are still the exception. In the US, there's a far greater willingness to promote and finance the commercialization of ideas from science. Whether Boston or San Francisco, the state gives founders from science targeted support.
The support of the federal government, specifically the National Science Foundation, which funds $7 billion worth of research a year, they wanted to enhance the rate of commercialization of that research. And so far, we've trained upwards of 1,000 teams. These teams are led by great scientists and engineers and supported by young entrepreneurs and mentors and advisors. And we distribute it in a program called the I-Core, or Innovation Core.
The I-Core program checks ideas from research for their economic potential, with great success.
We're able to bring to market and to enhance new ventures much quicker. We can accomplish in 18 months and with half the capital what used to take obviously twice as long and with twice as much capital.
In Japan, too, the state is pushing ahead with innovations from science, via the Economics Ministry's NADO program, for instance.
NADO offers 85% of the total first funding as a subsidy. So again, that kind of grant agency program is really helping us.
But money is not everything. Japan's researchers also receive support in their search for applications and the development of business models for the results of their research.
Interpretation, scientific interpretation to business is a very important function. Someone who is able to translate scientific results to a business, either venture capitalists who know about the science or the tech transfer people, to help researcher to connect their research with a business.
Sweden is the most successful country for startups in Europe. 7 unicorns were created here, startups worth over $1 billion, in a country with only 10 million inhabitants. Where does the success come from?
The countries, they finance universities with money to produce knowledge. The next step is to transfer that knowledge into business, which is commercial activities. And that can usually not be done successfully by people being scientists. It's business people who need to do that. Would be one thing I would sort of really do is to build up a system and processes to find commercial entrepreneurs out there and date them with the scientists and give the entrepreneurs ownership in the startup and let them build the company, a talent management system. That, I think, is my best advice.
There are many ideas for future-oriented companies. For example, at the Helmholtz Zentrum in Munich, where Professor Fabian Theiss develops algorithms that locate patterns inside the gigantic data flow of the life sciences to detect and treat diseases far earlier. We simply find this data analysis important, but we often notice that in science we can only do it professionally up to a certain degree. To do that, you need to create a business. It's not a scientific subject in which PhD students can get their doctorates. This task is undertaken by the startup Knowing. The initial funding is secured for 2 years by the M4 award. Having no money worries keeps the head free. For the concept, business plan and marketing, UnternehmerTUM provides professional support.
With Knowing, we're developing software which takes all biological life science data, stores and automatically evaluates and combines them to find biomarkers or active components.
This makes it easier to treat diseases like diabetes, but the founders also have a slight aversion to economic thinking.
In scientific circles, it's normal to generate knowledge and share everything with one another. Everything's open and laid bare. And now suddenly, as a startup, I have to start keeping everything to myself, keep it and develop it in the team so that no one can steal our ideas. I find that very, very problematic for us.
Worries like those disappear when scientists cooperate with entrepreneurs. And that's exactly what helped iThera too.
I think one thing that will definitely benefit scientists like me is to have access to business people in a way to bridge the scientific output to experienced entrepreneurs or to people that can navigate the field. If we can manage to have sort of like this in a more structured and a more accelerated way, I think that would help a lot.
Being made aware of the market potential, being connected to the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and receiving adequate funding. Could that trigger a startup boom in Germany as well?